State, you entered a plea to account for tampering with the government record. You entered a plea of guilty. The state waives counts 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. The state recommends community supervision. They're opposing your application for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, State?
Yes, Judge. We have.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, I've gone over my client and given him a chance to read it at his own pace.
Any objections to the PSI report, State?
No objection, Judge.
Defense?
No objection, Your Honor, though. I was kind of taken away that they said a taser was a weapon.
All right.
Well, it's not deadly.
All right. So, State, you're opposed to his application for deferred adjudication?
Yes.
You may speak to that.
Yes, Judge. I would just like to briefly, in the stipulations, it is the investigator Trujillo outlined what this defendant did. I would just like to briefly go over that to give the court an idea of what happened.
All right. So just so everyone knows, I am here to listen to whatever you all want to present, but just know that on PSI reports, I've read the PSI report and I've always reread the stipulations that were entered, but you may proceed.
Yes, Judge. So this defendant took advantage of people who he was supposed to be supervising and training in the Bexar County Jail. He was the CERT deputy in charge of cadets and lockdown units with violent offenders, people with ag assaults, murder charges pending. At least 5 individuals claimed that this defendant tased them when they were not consenting to it, when they were not looking, and that he did it in front of inmates, which, jeopardizes the security of the jail and also does not help with the retention issues that the jail is having as well. At least 2 of the victims left after that they were tased because they didn't want to be part of that work environment. Some of them were tased on the arms, legs, back, stomach. Multiple people said they did not want to be tased. He did it anyways. There's evidence that after he tased them and that the victims would ask him, why did you do that? He would look at them and smile. Some of the people consented to being tased. However, it was under a type of duress. For example, one of the victims went to him asking for clippers so that they could cut the inmate's hair in another unit. And he said, I'll give them to you if you let me tase you. I also reviewed the PSI, and in the PSI, I noticed that he said that he had been tased before. There's evidence that was uncovered throughout the investigation that he would, when the victims would say, hey man, why'd you do that to me? Have you ever been tased? He would respond back with, no, and I'm not going to let anyone tase me. So I don't know which part of that is actually true. Judge, I just want to make it very clear that when these reports come out and when all this stuff is happening, they don't say Andrew Garcia was tasing people in the jail. They say a Bexar County Sheriff's deputy was tasing people. He's besmirched the badge of the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. This is supposed to be a controlled environment, and he added chaos to an already chaotic environment. By doing this in front of the inmates, it put not only him in jeopardy and the cadets, but also the other inmates. And it is his sole job in the jail to maintain the health and safety of the inmates who are there. I'll leave you with this, Judge. It's the state's position that he needs to carry this conviction. When he was confronted about it, he put on a government record that he does not recall this ever happening. However, in the PSI, he says the reason he did it is because it was done to him. The old saying, if all your friends jump off of a bridge, are you going to do it too? And here it seems like he just went along with it and was tasing all these cadets. I just want to point out one of the individuals, this defendant is 6'10", 245 pounds, at least at the time when he was working there. One of the victims is 5'2" and 112 pounds. And he reported that he was held up against the wall physically and that this defendant would not set him down, that he would put him into an arm bar in front of other inmates and tase him multiple times in front of other inmates. This was not a one-off time, Judge. If it was, I don't think the state would be having such an issue with deferred. It's the fact that we found out that this happened to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individuals. And the one individual he didn't tase, he would harass. So when he would go to start doing his checks on the inmates, this defendant would point the red dot at him, come up behind him and clack the taser while the cadet was just trying to do his job?
We are actually going to the marriage license to pick up the proper documents. And then whenever, I guess, they have their scheduling, we'll pick a date, but as soon as possible.
All right, the state is asking for you to have a conviction. If this were counts 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7, I would probably have no question about giving you a conviction. But however, you do need to be punished. And punished is not just permanent surrender of your TCO license. So I'm going to give you a choice. I will give you 4 years deferred adjudication. With that, you're going into custody to the Bexar County Jail for 30 days. That's your punishment. Or I will give you a conviction. Which do you choose?
And the conviction, are you just giving regular probation? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Your Honor? You want the conviction?
The conviction is no jail time.
No, I mean, that's something you can discuss with your attorney. I will give you 4 years deferred adjudication. With 4 years deferred adjudication as part of your punishment, you're going to the Bexar County Jail today in handcuffs for 30 days, or you will have a guilty conviction on your record. Which do you choose?
The conviction.
And let me ask you this, since you're under oath, why don't you want to go to the Bexar County Jail?
I have a family to support. I am the only one that works within my family. My wife is focusing on her degree. And it's, I don't want to be in jail, y'all.
Well, the people you tased, they just wanted to, I'm assuming they were there to support their families as well. So why were you tasing people? And I don't want to hear, because how old are you?
24.
24. I don't want to hear this is like college and people are hazing people. I never understood why people who had been hazed decide to haze other people. So why were you tasing people at the jail who are just there? And I know those cadets are young because I've seen some of them. They're 18. Some of them look as though they're 12. So why were you tasing cadets?
Your Honor, doesn't make it right. It's a thing that's going around.
Oh, you're saying there are other cadets there are other people at the names. Who are the people who are tasing people at the jail?
Off the top of my head, Your Honor, it's been a while. I don't.
No, I'm thinking, who tased you? Give me a name. I'm sure the state would like to know these names. So who are the names of the people who were tasing you?
Your Honor, I do not remember.
Of course, you always remember the first person who tased you.
The first person who tased me was in proper training.
Oh, what's their name?
That was.
No, Your Honor, nothing from the defense.
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
All right, where are you working?
Alamo.
All right, court is going to sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting. Oh, and if I haven't said it before, I'm finding you guilty. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular UAs. There's to be the permanent surrender of your TCO license. And I know sometimes people will give up their TCO license, but then they go to another state and they're allowed to become officers again. So while you're on this probation, there's to be no employment as a security officer, any field of employment which requires you to supervise others. Probation. Is there any type of anti-bullying course for him?
Yes, I can look into it.
All right, you're going to take somebody's anti-bullying course. so you can understand the impact that you have when you bully people.
Sure.
There's to be no contact with any of the complainants. That's Dayton Lopez, Xavier Garcia Rios, Efren Acosta. Probation, is there anything else? Oh, 200 hours of community service restitution. Court is not waiving any of those hours, and I'm going to require parenting classes. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
You want to just give you anything, help you at all. This is your time to ask.
Sir, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful on this probation?
No, no.
All right. I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? All right, we can go off the record. I understand why you don't want to do your time at the Bexar County Jail. And you know what? I know it has to do with people in the box and security for you at the Bexar County Jail. So that heavy beating of your heart, that's the heavy beating that all of those cadets had whenever you were on shift. And you need to remember that. Do you understand?
Sure.
All right, good luck to you. Yes,
I apologize. You want field visits?
yes, field visits once a month for 3 months. All right, just have a seat. They'll go over conditions with you.
Let's see.